think we have a real concern here, and it's going to take me a second to put these pieces together for you. We haven't heard from anyone this morning, and this isn't just an isolated event anymore. It seems like government sources are more concerned about what we say on the air than what's going on outside. And I'm not the only one seeing these things on our daily commute. You call the cops, nobody answers. 911 service is useless. The helpline they set up is literally, in my honest opinion, a propaganda line. I mean, seriously, call them on the phone. They just say everything anyone says is inaccurate. Doesn't matter what it is, but hey, if you're sick or bitten, head to a shelter. Don't engage anybody. Stay inside if you can. And if you have any problems, do what you have to do. Everything else is supposedly under control. And seriously, it's not. I know most of you aren't even used to hearing me on the microphone. It's been a long time, if I'm being honest, and I get it. But I don't feel like celebrating. I'm on for a serious reason. It's probably my last broadcast. And I hope that's why you guys are coming back, is to hear my voice. When I started this conspiracy channel, these internet reports way back in the day, the information was direct. It was easy to remember. Now I will literally forget everything I'm saying by the time we get to the end of this. I have to write it down. I check it twice to make sure I've got everything, and I still miss stuff. You put every piece together it's like a 1,000-piece puzzle. That's how much stuff we have going on at one time right now. And honestly, I think the system is breaking down. Unlike that puzzle we opened, the box, there's no pieces. It just says see next puzzle. There are so many puzzle pieces, though. It's becoming noise, a cacophony. It's literally white noise. The puzzle is just static now. Look, I've seen warnings of wars, rival factions, drugs on the streets, the next pandemic to wipe out the face of the earth. Hey, the Men in Black movie saw less stuff than I see on a regular basis. That's just how the news is. It's constantly trying to scare me to do something non-stop, when in reality, most of it will be gone in 24-hour news cycle, and we'll forget it. We won't remember. Like Tommy Lee Jones, the reason the world can go on doing what it does is because it doesn't know about it. So why now is the news saying, relax, everything's fine? Why now is it saying, there's nothing to see here? It's like a beat cop at a murder scene trying to get the crowd to disperse. That's not what they do. It's either they aren't getting the information, or the information they're getting is wrong, or they just know it and just are choosing to report the wrong stuff. It's just enough to appease them and make everybody go away. So I'm not going to mince words. I'm going to cut to the chase, because I don't have any place to go from here. This morning, doctors at Stockton Hospital doubled down by saying the bodies of the dead are being reanimated by some unknown force that is driving them to attack the living. Anybody alive, if you have a pulse, they're coming for you. And that's not me trying to read into it or reword anything to scare you. That's read as written. And it's not the first time they've said it. If that doesn't shake you up, nothing will. And this doesn't seem like conspiracy anymore. Today, I'm not a freak news station. I'm honestly concerned. Sure, nobody else is reporting that, but you pick up your phone, even if it works, and call a hospital, any hospital, and see what happens. If you can get through, you won't like what you hear. I checked with the government. We hear the civil defense that the concept of an animated dead person is preposterous. Call the CDC. They'll say the same thing. Ask, why would anyone believe in this embellishment? But how is it embellishment? What is actually happening? What are we embellishing on? What is the idea of embellishing in itself? Means there's some sort of truth to the center of this apple core. I called up one of my friends in the healthcare field, and he teaches at a prestigious university, and I started running things by him, and he stopped me before we even got into the conversation, and he said something that was so profound I can't believe I missed it. It's in the name. I had to ask to clarify, but the name of this thing is literally in the name of the illness, PACE. The PACE stands for something. And if you break down those component parts of the name, you see it. It's clear as day. Even the word PACE itself should say something. I literally wanted to bang my head against the wall. I can't believe I didn't see it before. Sure, there's technical terms, stuff that you and I would just not get, and that's really the point. That's what we're getting at, is this whole thing has been under our nose all along, and we've missed it. Wrapped up in all this white noise of the world, the scandals, the vapid starlets belching out their songs on bright stages to keep us from learning anything of substance. Spend your whole life wrapped up in a drama that love brings and get everyone all stirred up looking for $1 million man, and just keep being an idiot painting your face for the rest of your life. That's not directed at women either. That's guys too. Just, you got to look a certain way, because this isn't about what the reality is. It's about, sticking to that emotional thing that's driving you. These guys aren't there to entertain us. They're there to keep us off track, to keep us the uneducated slave in the field saying, "Yes, master." Keep singing the songs. As long as we're paying attention to the flickering lights, we aren't seeing the wizard behind the curtain. We're never really free. I started doing research, and I got deep into this and just went searching on the internet, but I changed how I searched. This isn't just happening in Pennsylvania or Georgia or even New York and Jersey. It's got to be happening everywhere. Reports in New York of immigration in a hotel, a shooting in California or rural America, they aren't what we're told. An officer released for killing someone in cold blood, it doesn't happen for nothing. These aren't random events. Some of them are very clear, but others get very gray, and they're made to be that way on purpose. They're people not able to see the real issue and covering up their tracks. News reporters just repeating the BS they handed. And if that just happens to stir up the world, if we start burning down things, then hey, even more distraction, congratulations. We want to go back to the flashing lights. So anything will just cover it up and keep us going is the news. So we can go right back to our job and forget the reality. And that is it. It's the reality. The thing that we're living in is the dream world. What I found is most of these events seem to be associated with drugs and usually drug attacks. Again, it's all in the name. All you have to do is just search it, and you'll see it everywhere. Search for the names they don't want you searching for. And notice they're covering up with music and video games. It's in their names. You'll have to dig deep to find it, and it's been covered under with a carpet for so long. I think it'll almost be impossible for many that aren't hearing this to know where to even look. They'll say it's not real, that it's fake, that it never happened. They'll get you to doubt the truth so badly you'll be saying you're lying to yourself. They'll say that we didn't have a drug test for that specific drug when that certain thing happened. It's like dating a narcissist. She's not the problem. It's just you aren't seeing things right. You're doing this to yourself. Ignore those homeless people standing like statues or lunging at each other, or that suddenly there's roving bands of medical doctors going around the street checking on people. For what reason? The words like people are being devoured in the streets. The real problem now is something changed, though. That narrative isn't working anymore. It used to be easy to sweep this under the rug, but now the rug started moving. Now it's so in your face, it's impossible to deny. You open your window and it's walking down the street, and it's not a homeless guy anymore. It's a regular person. It's a guy in a suit. It's somebody covered in blood. It's someone scratching on your windowsill or coming up to your window, and nobody seems to come to stop them. That's next. Something happened that made this go from being an isolated event to being something bigger. And now the cat's clawed its way out of the bag, and I think the actions are being taken without our knowledge. People are being locked down, not because of some illness, but because they can't see what's really going on. And they can't go out, because if they do, they might actually see it. If they go out, they'll see it's happening, and they'll put two and two together. And you folks need to start asking questions, and you need to start asking them now. You need to start, call in somebody. I don't know, do something, but make your voice heard, because if you don't, one of these things might be at your doorstep. They might be scratching on your window. And you got to be careful. There's no telling what they'll be willing to do to keep this under wraps. You see something like this? I mean, what is one hospital now will turn into hundreds of hospitals spewing the truth, and it's why that phone call won't go through. It's why they can't let you get to them. It's why you'll be directed to a shelter before you'll be directed to an actual professional. Follow the rules, and you get flushed down the toilet. The goal is to contain the spread, not of an illness, but of the information about the illness. The truth is, sick people are dangerous. If you are bitten or somehow infected, there's no cure. I know people have had information that goes around, but that's the problem, is the rumor mill is worse than the actual illness itself. And I understand the civil defense, they can't come on air and say burn the body, so yeah, I can understand some of their position when it comes to that. They have to be discreet, because they can't have you running out in the streets too. But the truth is, that's the only option you have. You can't run away. You can't stay in one spot. Your options are dwindling away, and nothing can stop them once they get back up and start walking again. I can't even believe I'm saying it. See, this is the problem. I don't want to hear myself saying it. I don't want to turn it off and say I'm wrong. This can't be happening, but here's the evidence sitting in front of me. And you're going to say that to yourself. You're going to reject it. But if we reject it, it'll show up on our front door or in our bed. If it hasn't already happened, somewhere, someone is literally hiding in their house from the cat that we try to contain, from the thing we swept under the rug. I need to hear it. I need to hear myself say it. The dead are walking around, and they want to make us like them. They want to devour us. And of all the people I asked to go on record here, nobody would do it. Nobody wanted to be on air. And it's got to be more telling than anything I've ever encountered. And honestly, I'm scared, because I don't know those secret memos. I haven't seen those messages that they're getting, where when you call them and you say, can I get some sort of official statement from you? The answer is, I'm afraid to do that, or I can't do it, or the same statement over and over again, the same canned response, like hearing robots on the phone telling me they can't help. And for the first time in my life, it's real. I'm scared. I'm actually terrified of what's next, and I don't, like some kind of cancer patient, I don't know what's next. I don't know what comes next. There's no doctor to cure this. There's no treatment, no thing that makes it all better. It's just us. So, sorry to say that's the last one, but I want you guys to be careful out there, folks. Maybe staying inside is the right course of action, but do what you have to do to be ready. I looked it up yesterday and thought, how many people die a day? And that's how many people are probably coming after us tomorrow. And we're going to do our best to keep sporadically recording, but I'm pretty sure this is our last broadcast, and we'll be off the waves for good. We're all on our own now, and it's up to us to survive.